Right then, Doctor Strange, the second film in Marvel's Phase 3 and the 14th entry of their cinematic universe. So how does Doctor Strange stack up to the rest of Marvel's backlog? It has a lot to live up to with Civil War back in May. To get you up to speed, Doctor Strange is about a brilliant but extremely arrogant neurosurgeon who severely mangles his hands in a car accident, and due to the severe ligament and nerve damage in his hands, he can never operate again. He spends his wealth and resources looking for a cure to get his hands back to working order, which leads him to Nepal, to a mysterious being called the Ancient One who teaches him the mystic arts. And from there, we have our film. I had a good time with this film and it's certainly enjoyable, but there are some things that just don't sit quite right with me. But first, the good things about the film. Let's start with the cast. Let's start with Benedict Cumberbatch as Dr. Stephen Strange. He does a really great job and he plays both sides of the character very well. The arrogant genius mixed with the dutiful and brilliant side of the character. He's pretty much dead on to the comic books. To me, this character is quite similar to Tony Stark, Iron Man. He's always the smartest man in the room, and practically has the same origin story anyway. The similarities don't overshadow the character too much. I think they'll be pushing Doctor Strange as one of the MCU's main leads when Robert Downey Jr. decides to take a backseat to the franchise, or if he ever wants to leave the role, Benedict Cumberbatch could take over as one of the frontmen for the Avengers. Second up, we have Chiwetel Ejiofor as Mordo. Not Baron Mordo just yet, but he's very good with what he's given, and I look forward to seeing his character develop further.
The Wi-Fi password. We're not savages.
He's a very good mentor-like character to Strange, and it's really interesting to see them interact and fight alongside one another. We also have Rachel McAdams as Christine Palmer, a former lover and colleague of Strange's, and she gives it her all in all of her scenes. But I would have preferred it to see a bit more development between her and Strange's characters. There's also Benedict Wong as Wong, the irony isn't lost on me there, and he does really well, a deviation from the comic books. Wong is very much a stronger character and more of a presence in Strange's development as a sorcerer. The film's villain, Mads Mikkelsen's Caecilius, a former pupil of the Ancient One, is one of the weaker characters amongst the cast. Mikkelsen does well with what he's given, but I would say he's one of the weaker villains that Marvel has put to screen. His motivations are somewhat clear, however a bit too misguided and conveniently convoluted for me to buy. And finally, we have Tilda Swinton's The Ancient One, who really does stand out amongst the cast. Many people were complaining about the whitewashing of her character, but I feel like they got the right person for the job. The film's effects are truly spectacular. There's a sequence not that far into the film, where Strange is being shown the dimensions by the Ancient One, and is tumbling through dimensional portals, which looks incredible, almost like it's ripped straight from the pages of Steve Ditko's work. This is very visually reminiscent of the Quantum Realm from Ant-Man. The CGI is great, and they have some very creative ideas with the effects, with the buildings turning inside out, etc. But I feel like the film has an over-reliance on that, which is where I feel the film lets itself down. This may be a Marvel film, which is obviously known for its extended use of visual effects, but I feel like some don't look as good as others. It would switch from an incredible CGI backdrop from a battle sequence or something, to some quite mediocre green screen, where it doesn't feel like it's taking place where it's supposed to, but rather on a soundstage. However, this happens very rarely. The film is a bit muddled in its pacing and takes a while to get going. It may be an origin story, but it starts out quite slow. But once we enter the Ancient One's temple and Strange begins to start learning magic, the film really picks up. But all in all, Doctor Strange is a really solid entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, I would say that it is a very comic book film, including all the madness that ensues with that. So I would say that people who are a bit more seasoned in these films and are on board with all the weird stuff, there's a bit more enjoyment to be had. If not, you might be a bit lost and not buy into the world as much. So I'm going to say definitely go and give Doctor Strange a watch if you think it's up your alley. It's a fun time, but I wouldn't say it's Marvel's best. But I had a really great time in this. I put this film in the same vein as the first Thor film. This has opened the door for magic in the MCU, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it down the line, especially in future projects like Avengers Infinity War. But if you've seen Doctor Strange or are going to see it, let me know what you think about the film in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more reviews like this one. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, see you next time.